Oh, hi. I'm Pastor John, and I'm reading. You can see that, I guess. I'm reading this book. It's called What is God Like? A friend of mine, Heather, gave this to me just yesterday, and I've been thinking a lot about it, and I wanted to read it because, well, in worship with our churches, the open door churches, we're talking today and for the next few weeks about what it means to be like Christ. And maybe that word doesn't sound very familiar to you, or maybe you've heard it before, but you don't know what Christ means. Well, Christ means the chosen one, and it also means Jesus. So when we talk about Christ, we're talking about the person that you know whose name was Jesus. And Jesus was very much like God. So if we want to know what is God like, Jesus tells us and shows us. Well, here I am reading this, and one of the things I'm thinking about is how it is I'm not in the same room with you right now. Now, you probably know that one of the reasons that I'm not in the same room with you right now is because we can't all be in the same room together. We've been separated from each other, which is really kind of sad. I'd very much like to meet some of you, and I'd like to spend some time with you. I'd rather be reading this book to you. But do you know what? One of the things I'm reading in this book is God is both here and mysteriously over there. God's where I am, and God is where you are, no matter where you are. God is everywhere, it says, swirling throughout the world, whistling across mountain ranges. We have mountains in Oregon. Rustling through trees and pressing against your cheeks on a breezy day. God is here, and God is there, and God is everywhere. Now that's a good thing to remember, because even if we can't be together, even if we're separated from each other, that means that God is with both of us at the same time, and with everyone else at the same time. That is really amazing, because we can't really do that, but God can. And that means that we are never, ever alone, because God is always with us. Now, sometimes we can be there for other people, right? And sometimes other people are there for us. And today in worship, we're starting to read a letter. Now, I'm going to guess that a lot of you have never received a letter, or maybe you have, but most of us don't really receive letters anymore, at least not like the kind of letter that we're reading in worship. The letter that we're reading in worship was written by a man named Paul, who lived a very, very, very long time ago. And he had met some friends in a church in a place called Philippi. It's kind of a funny name, but it was in an area that we now call Greece. And so Paul was writing a letter because he could no longer be with the people that he got to be friends with in the city called Philippi. And we call that letter Paul's letter to the Philippians, because he wrote it to the people in Philippi. And he could no longer be with them. He was separated from them. But do you know what? He wanted to remind them that God was still with them, that Christ was still with them, and that even though they might be separated from each other, that they were still not alone. That's a pretty good message, I think. It means that in some ways we are with each other because God is with us, because Jesus is with us. I like that message. So, if you want to be like Christ, be like Jesus. Or if you want to know what God is like, then what you can remember is that God is the person that never, ever leaves anyone alone. That we can be like Jesus, we can be like Christ when we are there for each other, even if it means that we have to do that by writing a letter. I hope you'll remember that. And I hope you'll know that I'm thinking about you, that I am with you, even if I'm not with you. I hope you have a really good week. And I want to say a prayer for you, okay? God, help us to remember that we are never alone because you are with us. Amen.